channel. I'm Anita. I'm getting started on my Week in the Life album today. I've got a few things ready to go. I'm going to work on my title page and my intro pages for each day first. I think I'm going to probably batch process my whole album. So instead of working one day at a time, I'm going to work on a specific page and do each page for each day of the week, that particular page. So I'm starting with these title pages and as well as the main title page for my album. So the title page is going to be, I've decided to use the vellum. I'm going to cut that down. I'm using the flip book, the Simple Stories flip book. So it's a little wider than an Ali Edwards page protector by 1/2 inch. So I'm going to cut it down to this size, which I think is 7.5, pretty sure. Yeah, 7.5. And then the height is the same, 8.5 tall. So that will get done. And then I have printed the cards I'm going to adhere to the vellum. So I took the one little week in the life card. I don't have the, oh, here it is, the original. So this is what it looks like in the kit in that light green color, but I've recolored it. I'm using all digital products and printing them at home. So I recolored it to the navy color, added the date to the bottom, and added just a little um, rounded rectangle to the bottom, like an outline of the date. And that'll just, I probably will round the corners and that'll just get adhered to the front of the vellum. And then I did my reason why, and that'll just get adhered to the back again, rounding the corners so it matches this one. My reason why just says this project is one of my must-do ones throughout the year. Capturing a normal week in our life gives a snapshot of where we are, what we are up to, and is a great representation of our current season of life. While I tend to focus more on my own week, I manage to capture bits of the whole family. I always love the outcome, no matter how many photos or words I manage to capture during the week. Our mundane, repetitive life magically turns into something very special and treasured each and every time. This album is no exception. Bring on the stories of this week. So, just super simple, little intro to the album. And then for the title pages, the day title pages, I had said I was going to use these circle pages, and I did decide to do that. So I've print and cut each one. I did a little video in Photoshop Elements of the process for these. So that will be the first thing that's shown before I put everything together. I also did a sticker sheet with print and cut. I also have a little process for that as well. So those will be first up, and then I'll get into making the actual pages. Also in my prep video, I had said that I wanted to use these transparency letters for like the days of the week letters, but that I had printed them with lower opacity. So I did reprint them. And I think you can see, I can tell really easily, and I think you can see, oh yeah, you can totally see on camera the difference. So this is the least, like at 80% opacity. This is at 100% opacity. They still didn't print as well as I would hoped, but it's good enough. I'm not too worried about it. It has the effect that I want. So I am going to switch up the colors a little bit. So instead of using the lime green for the Monday, I'm going to use the dark green. And then originally I was going to do one of the flowers. I'd also printed those out on transparencies, but I don't like the way they look on here. So I'm going to save the flowers for something else. And instead, I'm using these little labels from the Storyteller Kit 5, I believe these ones are from. So like the front from the beginning of the year. And I'm simply going to adhere them somewhere on the letter and call it good enough. I thought about stitching, I thought about reprinting flowers, but I'm just going to keep it simple. So that will be there. And then on this label sheet, I did the little, um, like on these die cut pages, there was the little rectangle up here. So I mimicked that in a sticker form. So that will just have the date up there. And then on the back side will be just a simple photo. Let's jump into doing the title page first. It's quick and easy. I'm just going to cut this vellum down first to the 7.5 by 8.5. So I know I'm going to use the middle top, so I'm just going to cut it to the 8.5 first and then figure out where I want to cut it for the 7.5, which is pretty much right in the middle, I think, by the looks of it. And then I will round those corners on the two cards. I had a bit of a challenge doing that part. I have a elbow, well, tennis elbow, I guess is what we're gonna call it. I see physio this week to have that checked, but it was a bit of a challenge trying to round these corners. That squeezing motion hurts, but I managed to get it done. So I'm just rounding all four corners on both cards, and then we'll adhere them with the ATG gun. It should hold, it should be fine. And then I'm just using the page protector to make sure it's centered on the page that will be showing in the album. If I were to center it on the full page, it wouldn't look right once it's in the album. So I'm just going to adhere those back to back, and obviously they match up because of the same size. And then I'm just going to punch holes. I may need to reinforce those later just because of the prongs in the album are a bit sharp sometimes, but it should be okay. We're going to go with just this for now. And then next, we're going to jump into Photoshop for the page dividers. And I'll meet you back at my desk when that's done. Okay, first thing I'm going to do with this file is get rid of these holes because I want a solid image. I don't need the holes there. That's not where they're going to go on my file. So I'm just going to use the marquee tool, select them, fill selection. I'm on black and 100% opacity. Command D to get rid of my marching ants. And now I want to make it wider, but I don't want to necessarily make it larger. So I'm going to resize my canvas size to outside the page protector, which is 7 by 8.25. Going to move this over. Now, when you're using registration marks and silhouette, you only have so much space, and 7 inches is going to be just a little too wide. For those, it will cut it off anyway. So I'm going to move it to about there. I think that should be good. And then I want to fill this side in. So I'm going to take that marquee tool again. I'm going to overlap on that block just a little bit and fill in this whole space. Just edit. Oops, what did I do? Oh, I'm not on my layer. So edit, fill selection, black and 100% opacity again. Command D to get rid of that. And there is my file. So that's for the front side. So let's put the paper in. Now I did lighten this paper. I can show you here on the file a little bit. This is how it comes in. And that's how light I made it. I think I bumped it up just a little bit, not very much. I found it was too dark when I printed it straight from the file. So I liked it a little lighter. I'm just going to mask this in real quick. And then I'd like to have more of the beige showing. So I think over here is probably my best bet. I'd like to have more of the beige showing just because I want my transparencies to show up as best they can. So I'm going to call that good. Now the other thing I do want, so this is the original file here. This is what these dividers actually look like. There's a different one for each day, but I like this little tab here. And I do want to keep that on the front and the back of these dividers. So what I've decided to do, I'm going to make a sticker sheet, like a label sticker sheet, um, of these, but I will do that at a later date because I want to be able to do the whole sheet at once as a print and cut. So I can show you the steps for that as well that I do. And these are actually printed out. They'll look like this, but then I will add that sticker up here when I go to embellish everything. So this file is ready to go for Silhouette. So I'm just going to save it. I've already got one saved probably, but we'll do this again. Divider front is what I'm going to call it. And I've made an album just called Week in the Life 26 working file. That way, when I'm done working on the project, I'll keep anything, I'll save everything that I want to keep forever in with the Week in the Life, Ali Edwards Week in the Life files. Otherwise, I can just delete this whole thing when I'm done. I'm going to save this as a PNG. Save, I'm going to replace because I already have one called that because I've already printed these out. So that one is done. Sorry, my computer's a bit slow today. So I'm going to get rid of this and we're going to reverse this. So I'm going to go to rotate and flip it horizontally. So this will be the back side. And this was the picture I chose for Monday. Just going to make this a little larger. And we will mask that in there as well. And you can move it around to where you want it, but I think I've got it kind of where I need it. Yeah, if I move it over, it's going to show it as far as I can. About there. I want most of those tulips to show. And these, I'll probably have something in this white space when I go to embellish, and I'll have that little word strip up here, so it won't be just a photo. I'm going to save this as divider back, but it won't be a PSD, so we're going to get rid of that. Again, in that same working file and as a PNG. So we'll flip over to Silhouette. I've got it open here. I've already got my registration marks on. So you're going to hit page setup right here is that little piece of paper at the top. You're going to click on this registration marks tab here. And when you come in, this is what it will look like. I have my page set up as 8.5 by 11, the same as what I'm printing on my printer. And then when you turn on registration marks, this is the working area that you have. So I'm going to open my file. It's going to give me a new box here, I do believe. So I'm in my working file. I'm going to choose divider front, and I will open that. So there's my new file. So this is how it comes in. I'm just hoping that it's the right size. So I'm going to turn my registration marks on. Oops. And yeah, it looks like it's just the right size. Maybe a little, well, no, it is the right size, but I don't know if you know. So I don't know if you notice, but if I just move this, it goes really far. Even when I try to nudge it with my arrow keys, it goes really far. And you'll notice if I go here, it's in the bounding box just a little bit. If I go up one, it's still kind of just on the bounding box, and I don't want that. So, and if I go up again, it's still there. So what I do is come up here, and I have this set. That's as low as it'll go. I try to put it at 0, but it never does that. Maybe it will now. I don't know. Yeah, 0.125 is the smallest. And then I'm just going to use this arrow, and that nudges it down a little less. And then I should hopefully zoom in here just to make sure. And yeah, I'm just above that little grayed out area. So it should print properly and cut properly as well. And I'm well within the cutting bound line. And then I'm going to hit send here to show you. So this will only cut the outside of this file when it goes to cut. So from here, I'm going to send this to the printer. It will print the registration marks, these little black lines and squares. It'll print those, and then I will send it through the silhouette, and these little registration marks will show it where it's supposed to cut. And then I'll meet you back on my desk to put some together. Okay, so I've opened an 8.5 by 11 canvas and have it as a transparent background. And I've opened the tab page here. All I want on here is this little label here. So I've taken my magic wand tool and just clicked inside of here. My tolerance is set at 0, so that will allow it to do just that little label. And then I'm going to come up here to layer. I'm going to do a new layer via, let's do just cut. That will be fine. Going to hide the background. Come back over to my page and bring this into here. So from there, I'm just going to use the little bounding box here to make it straight-ish. That looks pretty good right there. And then I'm going to, I'm going to duplicate this a bunch of times. I could name all of my layers like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Monday back, Monday front, whatever. But I'm going to put words on here and I'll be able to tell over here when I have my words which ones are which. So I'm not going to worry about it too much. I'm going to, so there's two ways. So I can right click on here and do a duplicate layer. I would use this method if I wanted to change the name. Like I can change this to Monday if I wanted. And then that layer that I'm copying will be named Monday. But a faster and easier way is to do the shortcut, which is Command J. I just continue to click that and it will make as many copies. And it just keeps the same name. So now I have Monday copy 2, copy 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I need at least 10, 14. 14 is what I need. So let's do a few more here. So right now I have 10, 11, 14, and let's just do a couple more just in case we want a couple of extra just for fun. Not sure what I'm going to use them for. So the next thing I want to do is they're all stacked together right now, and I obviously want them in a row. So I'm just going to I'm not sure how much space I'm going to need. So I'm just going to bring this down this far, and I'm going to select them all. And I'm going to go over here to distribute centers, and that will put them all in the same, they'll be the same amount of space between all of those labels. And that looks pretty good. It takes up the whole side, and I'm not sure I've got them all. Let's just double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yep, we've got enough there. So that's good. Just in case there was still some stacked, but there's enough space. I don't feel like they are. So, okay, from there, I'm going to go on to this first one. And I think I've decided for the front of the dividers, I am going to do the date. And on the back with the photo, I will put a word or two or whatever will fit. So I'm just going to zoom in here a little bit. This shall go, I'll put you on fast forward because you don't need to watch me type all this. I'm literally just going to be typing the date in here. So I'm just going to bring a little text box. I don't want it to be super large. I'm thinking we'll do 12. And I'm just going to do them in black. And the tracking should be good. And I don't need to worry about the leading because it's just one. So we're just going to do May. And the first day was the 18th. Yes, yes, May 18th. So 18th, 2026. And actually, I wanted to see if I could do it with this. I kind of like the little line on the date sometimes, but it doesn't always work depending on the font. But I kind of like that, so I'm going to use it. I'm going to do that. So I'll finish the dates and I'll be right back. Okay, so those are all done. So the next thing I'm going to do, I was thinking of doing some of the currently tags. Don't know, yeah, some of these on vinyl paper as well. So I'm just going to open all of these. I'm just going to do Shift and click on these and open them all and see how many I can fit on that paper. So I've got them all selected. I'm just going to add them into Photoshop. They should all pop up. And I'm just going to click and drag them. I don't know if that one came in yet. So we have red, the red currently. I know for sure I'd like to use the currently ones. Because I think I'm going to use those on my divider pages. So let me just make sure I've got them all. Those look like they're the same color. I guess do these match the kit? I think they do. Yeah, they must. But maybe not because, oh no, there's 8 in here. I don't need this one. Okay. I just dragged one in that I didn't need to, I guess. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, but that one says morning. That's my problem. Okay, let's undo. Okay. So I've got them all in here. So there's my currently. So there should be one more right here. These look very similar, but this is the dark green and this is the navy. And I'm not sure I'm going to use the morning and evening ones, but there's lots of space on here. So I think I will, just in case I want to use them, and I may use them some other time. It's not that big a deal. So I'll put you on fast forward here while I get these all arranged and on the sheet. Move them up. And I could put them closer than this too. Actually, I'll leave these evening ones how they are. Just going to align left and then distribute the centers. There we go. In the mornings, I just gotta bring this guy up a little. Select, align left, and distribute the centers. So now I have all of those labels that should print and cut in Silhouette. I haven't tried this time. So from here, I can print it out and then run it through the Silhouette. And I will meet you back here on the desk to put some more things together. I have everything printed out and cut out and ready to go. So we're going to start on the Monday divider. I've got some transparency cut out. This was a photo that I had printed on transparency that I didn't use. So instead of wasting the transparency, I'm going to use it as my little page attachers. They're cut to 1 inch wide so that the page attacher part will be a half an inch, but I'll also have a half an inch underneath the divider to hold it in place. Um, so you'll see me here. I'm going to set up like a little template, I guess we'll call it. I'm going to tape that piece of paper. That was more so that you'd be able to see what I'm doing because it doesn't show up very well on the cutting mat. So I'm just taping down the paper and taping down the page protectors or page protector so it doesn't move. And then I'm going to line up the transparency or um, page attacher, and I'm just using it's scrapbook.com mint tape. So it sticks well, but it's very temporary. See, it's easy enough to move. So I've taped that down, but then I had an idea or come up with the idea that instead of taping it the full width, I'm going to tape it so that there's a straight edge right along that half inch on the page protector where the line is. So that way I know exactly where to line up the divider. So you'll see me, I'm taking the tape off and doing that now. And then that just gives me a little edge. Made it super simple. So this is a little bit fiddly at first. This is the first one I did, but as I went, it got much faster and much easier, less fiddly for sure, because I knew exactly where I needed to put everything and how to put it down. So there's my little template. I'm just going to come in with the ATG, put some of that on the actual transparency, adhere down the page, and trim off the little excess. And then same on the back, I'm just using the ATG, going the straight and then around on the edges. I like to have my adhesive really nice and close to the edge. I considered using some glue on here, but decided I would just go with the ATG. It should be fine. And then next I'm going to do my letters, I believe. Oh, no, first I'm going to just make sure I'm going to put the holes in and make sure that everything lines up the way I want it in the album. I think I'll need to do a crease on these to make them turn properly in the album. So I'm just making sure you can see me kind of folding it over and it should work if I need to. It'll be fine. And then for the letters, I'm just putting that the label on with the ATG, and then I put some sukwang on the back of that, and then a little liquid adhesive, adhered that down, and put my labels on, and that one is finished for now. I will come back in and embellish the photo later, but I'll do all that at the end. I'm not going to do that yet. And then I'll move on to Tuesday. Same thing. My template's already set up, makes it really easy. Just add on the die cut, adhere that down with the ATG, trim it up again, put the photo on the back in the same manner. You do see me trimming, so there is a little white on some of the photos, and sometimes it doesn't lay quite right when you go to adhere it. And I just take my little Tim Holtz scissors there and go around a little bit just to trim up where it looks a little crooked and whatnot. It's usually not too much and doesn't take very long to do. So that's that one, and I'll do the holes, and that's the whole process. I just keep going through each one. And here's that label again, just the ATG on the front, and then a little sukwang and a little glue along the label. And that should hold that down, and then you don't see any adhesive. And then my little label stickers. So yeah, I'll just keep going, and then I think I slow it down. Yeah, here we are. So this is my Sunday, but I hadn't cut out the letter for this one, so I thought I'd show you how I go about doing that. So I put a piece of paper in behind to make it easier to see where I need to cut. And then when you're fussy cutting like this, it's best to turn your paper, not your hand, like with your scissors. If you turn your paper, it does a smoother cut. So I'm just fussy cutting around those. And that's how I got the transparency to cut. They turn out fairly well and they're fairly simple to do. And then this one obviously is this exact same process as the other ones. Just line everything up and glue her down. And that's it for the dividers. So they're all finished. Once I get the holes punched in this one, I'll do a little flip through of the divider pages. Next up for my album will be page 1 and 2. That's what I'll be working on next. So here's the divider. So I've got the title page and the first one, the Monday in the album. So I'll flip through that first. It's hard to get an idea of what it's actually going to look like in the album, but that should come together in the next video to show you that. And then I'll just flip through the individual ones here. I love how they turned out. They are nice and simple, just like I wanted. So I'm liking that quite a bit. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks.